G'day and welcome to the weekly Camera Ready Confessions, a weekly live stream bridging personal branding and video marketing to help you shine as the obvious choice. Welcome, I am your host Zoë Wood, the video confidence coach, and welcome to this week's live stream. The recording date is the 10th of April 2026, whenever you're watching this on the hashtag replay. Feel free to watch or listen to this live stream on all platforms that we have, but of course all our show notes will always be found at vcc.training. That's the full website, vcc.training, and you can find out all the details there, as well as the show notes for this episode, any links that I reference, and any important details that I release during this live stream will be down in the description, because I like to keep things there for you and clear for you as we can. Make sure to comment any of your personal branding or video marketing questions, thoughts or ideas, or your own camera confessions throughout and after today's live stream. Hashtag replay squad. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. And I respond to all comments, positive or negative, but don't worry, you can leave positive ones if you like. And even if you don't, feel free to boost my algorithm and engagement. And like I said, you can find out more of our live streams, our podcasts, and our services at the Video Confidence Coach at vcc.training. All right, before I carry on with today's Camera Ready Confessions, I would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians on the land on which I conduct my business. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I stand with the traditional custodians of these lands in working towards a more equal future. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people continue to face discrimination and disadvantage due to our country's colonial past. I stand with them in their fight against injustice. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. And as we are riding towards ever faster and closer towards Reconciliation Week, make sure to check out any of your local markets or any companies that you may be affiliated with who are providing any help to Indigenous businesses and artists. Please do reach out to them and make sure you buy from them, because I'm always a big fan of supporting Indigenous artwork and businesses. So make sure you check that out, because that's nearing the end of next month. So end of this month? No, we're midway through this month. So near the end of May. Also, NAIDOC Week is coming up in start of June. So, okay, a lot of things happening on the Indigenous calendar. So you can always check that out by following JIRA, which I personally advocate for as a charity. But you can always check it out by Googling and searching, or just like I said, checking out your local markets as well as your companies that you're affiliated with, because they should have a reconciliation plan. And if they don't, get on them about that. All right, coming on back to what we are doing at the Video Confidence Coach. I am going to pull back because I am, that is so hot. Why are you so hot? And I don't, yes you are, the viewer watching, the listener here, but for some reason my microphone is incredibly hot, and you are, but also my microphone. So we're going to see what's going on about that. We're going to tone that down a bit. We're going to push it up a little bit. All right, there we go. Okay. So apologies if that was a bit too hot for everyone and it crackled a bit, despite the fact that I test these things all before I go live. And yet here we are with things going wrong. Do not worry. So I've got a couple of clients watching. Hi, don't worry. This is what happens all the time. The point is that it's working, that I'm able to get my message out to you, and that I'm able to easily and quickly respond to any questions and comments that you have that you put live on the stream. In regards to my focus for this quarter, I don't know. We recently finished a very, 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 very large contract here at the Video Confidence Coach, which took a significant amount of my February and March of 2026. Good payment, not so good everything else. So I did my best to pre-plan, pre-organize, and get things as consistent and as shipshape as I could. If there has been any faults or any issues and errors, I completely take on board that, and I apologize for those errors. I do my best to fix them before they happen, but it's not always going to happen, especially when you're running a personal brand. So thank you all for bringing my attention to a couple of those errors in the past email newsletter, as well as other errors that I did not foresee being an issue because I had planned things and then those plans fell apart, like they usually do. But at least I have my structure and my strategy all intact, ready to have a crack at other things. So recently I've had a couple of conversations leading up to, of course, Reconciliation Week, as well as other conversations about I think as we're in the, for those who are watching in the future, it is currently the first of the school holidays where we are in Victoria, Australia, and it is the week after Easter. So everyone is rather slow and tired, as per usual, leading up to any sort of big national holiday, or for us in Australia, when it's a big long weekend, and because of colonialism, it's the Christian holidays. So Easter is a very big start of year holiday for us in Australia, because we have Good Friday, which is a public holiday, then Easter Saturday, then Easter Sunday, which is the big day, and then we have the Easter Monday, which is I think public holidays are for definitely Good Friday and definitely Easter Sunday, but then it's kind of because it all kind of comes together, it all becomes a long weekend, which usually means a lot of people are kind of scrambling to get things done beforehand so that they can go on holiday, that they can, spend time with their family, that they can not focus on the work that needs to be done, which in turn stresses everyone out before you have a holiday, and then you feel absolutely drained and don't want to come back into work afterwards. So as per my recommendation through multiple of my team members, I took the week off. So once I finished on the Friday last week, we took a break off. So as you may have noticed, we did not have a camera ready confessions because it was Good Friday and I needed to rest after the contract. And in turn, I also cancelled all the meetings that I had scheduled, and thank you everyone for being so compliant with that. And everyone was like, yep, I'm taking the day off too, Zoe. So thank you all for your patience on that front. And realistically, it is that time of year just where everything gets a bit stressful, and then when it comes to having conversations about things, people are like, I'll get back to it, which is totally understandable. I understand, especially when you are working on a personal brand, you are doing it yourself, or you are in a very small, tight-knit team to get it done. I totally understand. We need to start thinking of Q2 stuff though. So start having that percolating in your brain so then we can start getting stuff going by the time we reach the end of financial year, which for some reason everything either happens or everything stops, which is always fun here at the Video Confidence Coach. But looking at the recent Unboring Your Brand episodes, we had a double whammy on Wednesday because someone may have pre-planned a whole bunch of episodes and then forgot that she didn't pre-plan the last one, and then noticed on her feed that the episode didn't come through. Hi. That someone may have been me. So thank you so much for all your patience, and I apologize for all those people reaching out to me going, there's no podcast, Zoe! I'm sorry. So the episodes that came out last Wednesday were episode 105, Simple Marketing on Hard Weeks. That was a recap episode of episode 63, which showcased the simple things that you can do to market yourself and consistently market yourself when life is hard. So Exhibit A, Your Honor, me. And we also had a snippet from a guest podcast that I was a part of called the Beyond Growth podcast with Ray and Fernando. And you've got a little teaser in the podcast feed there for you to check it out. It's just a quick sample there, and make sure you download the episode with Ray. And I want to appreciate, and I'm going to send this as a sample video, as a simple video to Rain as well. I want to sincerely thank you, Rain, for the opportunity to be on the podcast. I'm listening back to it now because we recorded a couple of months ago. Boy, we are funny. We should get a double act. I sincerely thank you so much for letting me be on your podcast, and say hi to all of your audience members. If you have any questions, if you are a fan of Ryan's, please reach out. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I look forward to being on the podcast again in the future. Or when I get my guest podcast going, I'm going to bring you on board, my friend. Yes. And looking at the other projects that we have at the Video Confidence Coach, so I can stop yammering and get to the place where we need to be. And of course, I forgot to press the button. Oops. I am all here today. I want to check in with Vic Podcasters. Vic Podcasters is our Victorian podcasters group that is on Facebook, LinkedIn, and email. And you can find out more details, of course, at vcc.training/vic-podcasters, where essentially we are gearing up for our second live Q&A event of the year. So the most recent one that we had was about scrappy podcasting, about podcasting as quickly and efficiently as you can without much money or budget that you have and what you can do and how you can record a semi-professional sounding podcast without necessarily having all the equipment and the time that goes with it. So that was a very healthy discussion Q&A. So thank you everyone who joined us for that session. The upcoming session, this is an exclusive to the Camera Ready Confessions because I haven't put anything together to actually promote any of this yet. We are going to have our June, so late June, I haven't got a specific date yet, but late June, we are going to have our second Vic Podcasters live Q&A event, and we are going to have a discussion on video podcasts. Now, as you can imagine, that is my shtick, that is my wheelhouse. And I have many things to answer people's questions about. So we have had a lot of discussion in the groups about video podcasts, yay or nay, how are people feeling about it, what are people's personal experiences with it compared to what the actual companies who are pushing video podcasts feel about it. That is always the question. And especially if they are getting money out of it, they have an incentive to push, that video podcast is going to be the next revolutionary step for podcasting. Do any of us really believe that? We are going to find out. So make sure you signed up to the email list that you join our event, which will be in late June of 2026. I had a couple of questions about it, so I think I organized it for Friday. So the last event we had organized for a Friday night, and a lot of people mentioned, hey Zoe, I just don't have the flexibility on a Friday night, and I said that is perfectly fine. And as I said, make sure that you register anyway, and I'll make sure to give you a recording for 72 hours after the fact. But then after those 72 hours, it's no longer available. See where I'm going with that. And then, but for the upcoming event, I will make sure to have all the details there on the Facebook, LinkedIn, and email newsletters. And we will also probably move it to like a Wednesday night or something a little bit more flexible for people. I have had discussions with people about having it at a lunchtime. And to be honest, we've had... All right, I'm going to just do this to prevent my own insanity. We've had a lot of discussions with people about having these events at lunchtime because the evenings are either pre-booked with family or other activities, which I totally understand. We're just finding that when it comes to the members of the community that we have, that lunchtimes are just already too packed as it is, already an inconvenience to people to actually be there and actually focus on having a discussion with the members of the group. So I'm going to trial with Wednesday night for the upcoming Q&A. So in late June, we're going to do Wednesday night, and we're going to see how everyone goes with that. And then from there, we'll see what people feel and how people go. Always happy to hear your opinions and hear your thoughts if you're a member of the Vic Podcasters. So please do reach out, and we'll do our best to make sure that we cover everything. Yes, watch. I am exercising. And as we lead on to today, we are going to discuss strong structure makes you sound smart. Now, we are, as per usual, we're 15 minutes in, and I've only just finished covering the housekeeping. Yeah, this is Welcome to Camera Ready Confessions, where we do this at the Video Confidence Coach. But ultimately, we are going to cover a couple of community questions that we've had, 3 in fact, from Ruby, Zane, and Tom, which are all about structure and all about how you can structure your marketing or your content to improve your personal branding without burning yourself out. So we're going to go on to those quick community questions. And for those who maybe aren't in the know, quick community questions are where I like to give punchy information, nice and quick, nice in a nice individual bubble, so then we can take it, put it on social media, but also just answer people's questions nice, quick, and efficiently. And then we will be recording, as per usual, an episode of the Unboring Your Brand podcast. And this episode, as you can imagine, is about the theme of the episode, which is content is not your strategy, which is a discussion that I've been having a lot lately about, obviously, as someone who works in personal branding and video marketing, you can probably imagine that there is a lot of discussions that I have about content marketing, which is the content that puts you out there, that, you become a thought leader, whatever that means in LinkedIn terms. You become that person of influence by putting out content, pieces of material that you can repurpose again and again and again to get your information and your content out there. And a lot of people have been following this method for about honestly, the past decade or more. This was a method coined by HubSpot and Gary Vee, and a lot of content creators just putting out a lot of content in a very short amount of time. Quality, but content nonetheless. And a lot of people are seeing this, or seeing just the structure of it, and thinking that, oh, I have to be like them. I have to constantly be pushing out content 24/7 to be noticed. And I'm saying, as someone who is in the industry and does it for a living, that you don't. Your personal brand is more about structure than it is the content that you're putting out there. It is for your audience at the end of the day. What are you doing for them? And more importantly, what are you putting in front of them to allow them to achieve whatever your desired solution is to their problem? And when it comes to the ways of doing that, yes, content is there, but you also need that as part of a larger structure to, get your point across, get your message across, but also get them to take desired action. Humans do not like being told what to do. And in turn, to get them to do stuff, to get them to take those initial steps, you need to be able to showcase, not just in your world or in your life, that the way that, what you are doing is not exactly word of God per se. You're showing people that you live by the values that you preach. And in turn, you need to show that by structuring your content efficiently. You need to repeat your messages again and again and again until you're bored, but they are not bored. And yes, there is an element of content out there because that is a method, a format of getting your content out there. But you can also do this by in-person events, in-person coaching, in-person meetings, mentoring people one-on-one. Oh no, I can't monetize that. Oh no, I can't, record it and put it into an hour-length podcast and shove 1,000 ads in there. Oh no. Not everything that you're going to do for your personal brand is going to be marketable, is going to be replicatable. And that's okay. And that is what we are going to discuss today in our pieces of community questions, as well as, of course, the Unboring Your Brand podcast episode. So I'm going to take a break. You're going to watch some ads. Well, some cool ads. And I'm going to check out some technical issues. You want to have either business cards, magnets, even pieces of paper, or even flyers, especially in Geelong and regional cities. You need to be able, unfortunately, it's a bit old school, but you need to be able to give people physically something. For me, I have a business card on a string that people can take a photo of that has QR codes on it that takes them directly to my website. Because I am digital and most of my work is digitally based, it makes sense to get into people's phones and to showcase my work from there. But if you have physical things that you give as part of your products, maybe look at providing some samples that you can carry with you that people can feel and touch, and that is a unique experience. Again, if you are, say, for example, a carpenter, don't lug around a big heavy thing that could cause you back problems. But when it comes to networking, being able to physically give people something, like a business card, like a pamphlet, is always useful, but make sure you ask them before giving it to them first. Don't just foist things on people, because that will leave them with a negative taste in their mouth and negative reputation of your type of business as being very pushy and unethical as the next logical leap from there. I'm getting started and I feel like everyone else is already known for something. What do I even do when I don't even know what I'm going to give yet? What should I try? Well, Ruby, you are in the right place. Welcome to Zoë Wood, the Video Confidence Coach, and we are going to touch on how to grow your personal brand when you don't really know what you're doing yet. So ultimately, how do you figure out your personal brand without still needing to build a bit of confidence in it. And ultimately, it's not your personal brand. It's not about you. It's about your audience. Think and picture and do some real digging into the type of people that you want to serve. Now, I'm not talking broad demographics here. I'm talking people who you have met or you have served or you have worked with in real life who need your help, who need your expertise, who need your knowledge. Now, this could be helpful if you are still wanting to be in the career that you're in or the industry that you're in. You have a lot of knowledge, whether you know it or not, that can help people who are younger than you, people who are newer in your career or industry. People always need a mentor or a guide, and that's what you can be. And if you are in, say, the opposite of that situation, where you are moving away from another industry or career and you're moving into a new one, you can bring people along with you, side by side, in your journey of discovering more about your industry, who you're helping, why you're helping them. Take them on that journey. It's all about story here, people. And you can do this, Ruby. I believe in you. The way that you combat this is via testimonials, via reviews, via actual living proof human beings who are showcasing that, hey, talking with this person for 12 months on a regular basis gave me the courage and knowledge to be able to pursue my dreams. Now, of course, again, life coaches are not therapists. I want to stress that. Life coaching is not therapy. I want to stress that. But this then in turn impacts your... What are the 3 best post types to grow your personal brand this year? Well, Zane, here are some questions for you, and I know you've got some really clear answers for me, and unfortunately, it depends. When it comes to growing your personal brand is a professional reflection of you, that you are not doing it for yourself. No, you are doing this for your audience, the people who care about you and the people who are following you. You are doing it for them. So the categories or the best posts that you are going to put out there are going to be repeating your same message over and over again that helps people find the solution that they need. What is the problem that you solve? That is a piece of content there. What is the solution you provide? What is the content there? The message, what is the thing that is really, really clear that helps you stand out and maybe a bit contradictory to the flow of everything else that is happening around you in your industry or your particular niche? Ultimately, you're not doing this for you. So in turn, you need to make sure that you post multiple times a week to showcase you know what you're talking about. You're going to get bored of your own message, which is fine, Zane, but I believe in you. And for the people that I predominantly focus on, these are your personal brand builders, your coaches, your speakers, your marketers, your women and non-binary folk in fintech is kind of a little bit in the area that I'm in now, but I'm also happy to pivot. These people just need to be aware that you're still doing what you're doing, that you... I'm happy to show up, but I don't even know what I want to be known for yet. What is the fastest way to figure out my theme of my personal brand? Hi Tom, Zoe the Video Confidence Coach here, and I want to help you figure out how you want to figure out this theme. And there's a couple of ways to do this, but first of all, you need to establish who you're talking to. And then following that up with why you're talking to them, and hopefully your values align. Your personal brand, even though your personal brand may be the professional reflection of you, it is ultimately in service of your audience, the people who follow you, the people who care about what you have to say, and hopefully buy from you. So in turn, Tom, need to figure out when it comes to the fastest way to figure out your theme, think about your experience. Think about the people that you have met in real life, mind you, in real life. What are the problems that they're solving? What is the solution that you can provide? What is your exact opinion about those? Is it contrary to the mainstream? Awesome, you've got a theme. And when I say themes, I can see... When it comes to your personal brand, your message is going to be repeated over and over and over again. So in turn, Tom, you're going to be on a great path, but let's figure out who you help first. To be honest, there is a lot of other things that you need to worry about when it comes to both yourself, but also your brand. All right, that is a quick fire round of those questions. Please do let me know if I answered them or if I was just too busy trying to keep the time that I ended up just being way too unclear. That happens a fair few times. And as per usual, as soon as I take a week off, my brain just goes, and here we are again, where I need to actually do my job. So we are going to swiftly and very speedily move on to the podcast episode of today, which is Content Isn't Your Strategy. So as we mentioned just before, and as per usual, I'm going to take down this damn thing. All right, I swear you're getting hotter and hotter, or I'm getting louder and louder. That is also a possibility. So my apologies for those in the room if I have blown your eardrums. I swear to God, I fix it every time and then it just keeps creeping back up. But thank you all for joining me on those camera ready community questions. I use them mainly as social media content, but I also use it as a kernel to start off a larger article or blog as a way of reframing things, drawing people in with a really short, sharp video, giving them context of what they needed, because if they were interested to click enough the video and go to my website, then they've got all the details there. Then that's followed up by podcast episodes and videos that they can watch to get a better idea of what to do. The way that I like to do it is I try not to overwhelm people, because that's a problem that I have, where I overwhelm people way too much. But I have a team to rein me back a little bit. Sometimes they're on holiday, like today, and they don't get a chance to rein me back a bit. On those particular moments, being able to provide methods that people best learn in is a way that I like to do, is the way that I like to do, the way that I like to message, the way that I like to put my content out there, is that I like to make sure that my message can be understood. Now, am I going to be understood by everyone? No. Am I going to be understood clearly? No. But at least I have done my best to put the message that I want out there, the values that I put out there. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, honestly, not the end of the world, not my problem. I know that sounds a bit mean, doesn't it? But that is my new BFM for this quarter, is to put my message out there that is clear and as concise as I can put it. And if people take it the wrong way, so be it. That's what I'm here for. But we are going to swiftly move on to the podcast episode. Let's do this. Where'd you go? And when it comes to your work as a business owner, unless marketing your business is a hobby for you, it can feel like a slog. So using social media to promote your business. And that is the goal when it comes to the work that you're doing while you're on social media in the first place. Yes, there is the connection that you get from interacting with fans or with potential customers. There is the opportunities as a business to advertise and reach those potentially new clients, or maybe people who have heard of you, or even people who you've worked with in the past or who have purchased from you in the past. They can be reminded of your existence and go, oh, yeah, I really liked, what I bought from them, my services from them. Oh, I should hire them again. All right, I'll look into it. That prompt, that acknowledgement. But when it comes to using these social media platforms to organically reach people, that has become less and less achievable over time, just because of the amount of stuff that is on these platforms, because it is what a lot of people see, especially who are starting out in business, as a free marketing tool. And that's because it is. Like, you're not giving up any money up front. You're not paying for a billboard. You're not paying for leaflet. I'm going to hold my, come here, bestie. Come here, bestie. Come here, bestie. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. That content is not a marketing strategy. I know. Content is not a marketing strategy. Let's hold this together. And welcome to the Unboring Your Brand podcast with me, your host, Zoë Wood, the Video Confidence Coach. And breathe out. Don't worry, bestie, I got you. Yes, that's what this podcast episode is about today. Yes, that's what this podcast is about today. It is about content not being your strategy. Marketing is about creating interest, trust, and real conversations that lead to sales. Now, I know that may seem a bit counterintuitive, or for you, you may be screaming at your screen right now, Zoe. Of course, I know that content isn't a strategy, Zoe. I already knew that. Well, then you should already... This is the thing that I have to keep reminding, not just myself as someone who works in this day in, day out, but the clients that I work with as well. There is a method, especially regarding our previous episode about output over what I think the podcast episode itself was, and I had my notes here. I'm going to look at my notes so I don't go off the cuff like I usually do. Was prioritizing strategy over format. That is episode 42, and you can go back in the archive to check that out. But specifically, that episode had come back into a conversation that I was having with Hannah, and so thank you for the spurring of this episode. And essentially we were talking about how when she was coming up with ideas or ways that she can put her message out there or lead to trust with her audience, she kept thinking of the final format first, like the Instagram story that was going to go out, or the podcast, or she kept thinking in the line of strategy as opposed to in the line of messaging or in the line of strategy. What is your ultimate goal? And it took a while to kind of get our heads around this. And it's something that I still find myself doing a couple of times because it's an easy shorthand. You think about what the audience wants or needs, and then you put it in a format that they can easily, they can easily gobble up. But this isn't always helpful, not just for them, but also for you. And the question that we ultimately had from Hannah was, how do I stop treating posting content like a marketing strategy or just an off-the-cuff marketing strategy, or in my personal methodology, shooting from the hip? Why? Because I do that a lot. Obviously, if you're a client of mine, I do not shoot from the hip. I think very strategically. But for myself, because it's my brand, it's my personal brand, I can do whatever I want. And if I want to shoot myself in the foot while I shoot from the hip, so be it. That may be a thing that you do as well as me. Come join me. Back to the question, sorry. And how do I start doing marketing that actually gets me in conversations and with clients? So it's ultimately the question that we came up with Hannah. And I want to start off with, when you think about the term marketing, and I'm going to use the big rainbow here, marketing. When it comes to that, what conjures up in your mind when I say that word? Does it conjure up images of numbers, metrics, engagement, things that you can count? Is that because it feels safer or more certain? Or maybe it's a case that just you think more in the final product or the format, like I mentioned before. You think about the images, the videos, the audio that people hear. The final product. But rolling back, the point of your marketing strategy is not the dashboard. Is not like seeing those numbers go up and down, hopefully up. Its marketing strategy is about a conversation that you earn from the right people. And those right people are, yes, they are your target audience, your customer avatar, your super fan, the people who are going to rave about the work that you have done with them and get you more clients, and in turn allows you to grow bigger and bigger so you can help and service more clients. Woo! Capitalism if it worked. And marketing is ultimately designed to create interest, is to capture engagement, in other words, but it then turns that interest into trust and into a buying. Let me do that again. Marketing is ultimately designed to create interest. That interest then turns into trust, which then turns into a buying decision, if we're thinking very linearly here. Marketing is also a method, as well as creating trust, is also as, showcasing proof. Showcasing that you know what you're talking about and you have the proof to back it up. You have images and videos of the work that you've done with people. You have podcasts to proof your knowledge. You have social media posts that remind people about your messages or your focus on not just the solution that you provide, but also addressing the problem that people have. A lot of people don't realize that they have a problem. Now, of course, I'm getting real into marketing speak here and a little bit into the marketing weeds here, but a lot of people are kind of just happy with their lot, happy in the mindset of, oh, this is bad, it could possibly get worse, but I'm just going to sit tight because it can't get any worse type of mentality. And especially as the world continues to do whatever it's doing by certain people that I may not name here, it is going to continue to be that unsafe space as the world continues to devolve in that way. And your marketing should be a beacon of light in that gloom. You should be able to provide that solution to people that people need, and in turn be able to help them achieve something that they couldn't do on their own, or maybe that they wouldn't do great on their own. And you're able to do so in a structured format. Because, say it with me now, your content is not your marketing structure. And when it comes to the work that you're doing with your clients and the work that you're doing, you aren't just trying to put your content out there to win one sale. You're not just putting your content out there just to get it one time, aren't you? You're putting yourself out there, you're putting your messages out there, you're putting yourself in every single format known to man to make sure that you can win loyalty, that you can get a repeat purchase, which is always the goal for most, if not all, businesses. And if you aren't trying to get repeat purchases, get on that. And ultimately, a method that people aren't really talking about when it comes to marketing is that you're trying to secure word of mouth from people who love what you do. They may not be clients of yours. They may not be people who have worked with you in the past, but they love what you stand for. They love your messaging. They love your values, and they love what you bring to this world. Yes, buy content because that's what they can consume or be reminded of your existence as often, but also they want a sense of belonging because we are humans at the end of the day. And to do so, you need to be able to lead as the personal brand owner that you are. So in turn, having a strategy to back this up is going to help you as well as help your audience. Because again, it's not just about you. It is about your audience. When they click the link in your bio, when they go to your website, what do they do there? Do they find out about how to book you in for a speaking session? Do they book in a time to coach with you? Maybe they're not ready for that yet. Maybe they're still sussing you out. Is that where they get a lead magnet from? Maybe. Do you get their email list and then spam them with irrelevant shit? Then maybe that's not the case. Hopefully that's not the case. Your marketing structure is more than just the content you put out there because it needs to back everything up that you're saying. Sure, a image of you speaking to a crowd is great, but then what does that do? Other than, oh, this person's on a stage, I should trust them. You hope. What it's going to do is it's going to be one point in a constellation of pieces of proof that remind people to trust you. You know what you're talking about. You're on this stage. If people want to listen or they want to watch what you said on stage, hey, check out my YouTube video. What does that YouTube video also link to? Also links to articles that are on my website. Also links to a prompt to follow my email newsletter where you can get discount tickets to my next event. Again, it's all part of a structure. And if you're leading with just, the YouTube video that people are going to see at the end of the day, that is a good idea or an ideation, but it's not the full structure. It's not the full strategy. And if you are just leading with that final piece first, the entire thing, backing everything up that you're doing, is going to fall apart because you have no substance. You have nothing to back up what you're doing or you're saying because you haven't thought about it. And that's how it honestly feels with a lot of, say, for example, AI slop content or gurus out there. Yes, you've got a, fun video of a cat in boots. But then what does that do? Is it purely to farm engagement so that they can get the follower count up so then they can sell it to another creator and make money? Maybe. Is it purely about getting people's engagement so then they can convince you of something? Probably not, because there's no real trust involved. Other than just like burning down the planet in the meantime, there's not a whole lot of substance to what they do. On the surface, a lot of scams are incredibly thought out, which I do not love. But of course, a lot of these AI slop channels and scams have a little bit of structure to them. So why doesn't your personal brand, which is legitimate, by the way, I'm not teaching any of you scammers to be scammers, your personal brand is legitimate reflection of your professional self. You're there to help and serve your audience. And to do so, you need to be able to back that up with the strategy. Word of mouth, which I said is the pinnacle of how you want to market yourself, is more trustworthy than any other form of marketing because it ultimately comes from people that they like. It comes from their friends. It comes from their family. It comes from their co-workers. It comes from their boss. It comes from their underlings. It comes from people who they trust and already trust. And if you can, I'm going to tell you now. So let me fix this first, and then I'll tell you a story. So recently I was at a family event. So it was a nice barbecue, all chill. And what happened was I was overhearing conversations with, various family members talking about this. To be honest, I've honestly forgotten what it was at this stage. But what it was is that they talked about the story of, have you heard about this? Oh, no, I haven't. What is it about? Then obviously they started, excitedly telling them about this new fishing rod. I don't really know, to be honest. It kind of lost me in the actual details, but I saw the passion that they explaining this, and then proceeded to back up what they were saying with, here's their YouTube channel. Here, I'll send you the link, or here's their website. I'll send you the link, and they go, oh, thanks, mate, and then followed the links from there. And then I saw them at the end of the event still looking through that website and going to the contact page and reaching out. Now, of course, this is one instance, this is one person, this is one example, but this happens billions of times a day through multiple different people. We trust people who we trust already, and if they are providing us some proof, and if that proof looks legitimate, we are going to follow it. Now, of course, that can sometimes fall us in hot water with scams, but that is not exactly what we're talking about today. We are discussing about how your personal brand can be that recommendation. Why? Because you've got the structure to back up the content that you're putting out there. Your content is just the top of the funnel, the top of the itty bitty bitty cake, the little figures on top of a wedding cake. The rest of it is what people are eating, talking about, consuming, in the consuming sense. So in turn, you need to be able to prove what you're doing, not just with the content that you do, but everything that backs it up. Because even marketing gurus can forget this sometimes, which is why I want to repeat it a couple of times for you. And what do you mean, Zoe? So when you say marketing, I mean the whole kit and caboodle of marketing. It's not just the video or the podcast or the short that you put out one day. It is the lead magnet that gets people on board. Oh, it's the email list that you're able to communicate to people with. People who signed up to your email list because they want to hear from you. It is the website that you fully host, it is your platform. You pay for it. It is your platform where you can put not just your, latest lead magnet, your latest project that you're working on, but your opinions. AI cannot generate opinions for its life because it is not real. You are real. You are trying to help real people. And in turn, having a place where you can put your opinions, I may not believe the same thing. I may not even agree with you. but I agree in your right to be able to share your opinions. And in turn, having that on a website that you control is part of that structure, is making sure that when people go to research you, that you are more than just a Facebook page that was created in 2009 and hasn't been updated since. That they've got something to hang on to and hold on to make sure that you're a real person, to make sure that you're not scamming them out of their life savings, to show that you are the real solution to their problem. And they're gonna feel a little bit like that from time to time, because we are constantly going to run into situations where scams and where issues of things not being exactly as they seem are going to occur more, especially when on the internet. So when you are growing a personal brand, you need to be able to back up what you're doing with every single piece of proof, a testimonial with every single thing that you say. And you can find that all on my website, for example. I like to back up everything that I do with a testimonial of some description. At least I do my best. Of course, I can't deliver a testimonial to you because I can't, well, if you found me, hopefully you like my work. Because marketing ultimately is about driving connections and interest, not just posting content and hoping it is seen. Because great, if someone does see it, awesome. What do they do next? Their algorithm, if they spend any time on it, is probably going to feed them the more content because, of course, the platforms want to keep people on their platforms and get as much engagement and attention as they can. Because at the end of the day, there's only so much attention that humans can give. We're kind of inefficient in that way, and that's okay. But for you and the work that you're trying to do, what is going to back up what you are saying? Your preferences are not your customers' preferences. Just because you don't do something does not mean that they don't do it. And when you are about to make a decision to post something or say something online, make sure to think about the long-term decisions that are based on those assumptions that you're putting in that content. Especially decisions or statements that could put you in a box later. And I'm not saying in the sense of you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. I'm saying more if you're shooting from the hip, you are more likely to shoot your foot. And this is coming from someone who has done this a lot. Someone who feels like, oh, I need to say something about this. And then I just kind of, and then it does not look very professional. And it's not even a case of even looking professional. It's a case that I just look sloppy. I look like crap. I end up coming off as, someone you wouldn't really want to trust. Now, of course, if you are someone who views me with my crazy hair that I have to constantly keep fixing, and my bright makeup and my bright blue shirt, and you're like, yeah, you're not for me, that's okay. I'm not for you. And that's okay. But for everyone else who likes my vibe, who enjoys my little rants, who enjoys the personality that I imbue into my personal brand, I want to bring you on board. I want to be in the communities that you're in. I want you to join my communities. I want to be there to help and support you grow your personal brand with video marketing. Like, that is my shtick. And arguably that has always been my shtick. I just didn't have the words for it. So when you think about, you're on your couch after a very, very, very long day and you sit there and you do like some doom scrolling that you probably shouldn't be doing, but here you are. And you look at other people's and their highlight reels and you go, I should be doing that. I should be doing that. I should be doing that. So then you think, oh, I'll post this video, or I'll post an image that I took with very little context and the description is just very loose and it doesn't really explain to people what's going on, and I post it out there and then are upset when it hasn't got 1 million views or, above average engagement for you and the work that you do. It's because content is ultimately not a strategy. It is a tool inside the strategy that you're working with. Marketing exists to create conversations, not just metrics. not just engagement numbers, not just analytics. It's about the conversations. And if you do not have a system that enables you to have those conversations, then you are just posting into the ether, posting into the void. And that's probably how it feels. You're doing your best to keep up with the Joneses, whoever the Joneses are, and you're just constantly putting stuff out there and not getting anything back. Your numbers aren't going up, and then you may be tempted to pay for some of those numbers, to pay the platforms to be seen, and then you're just without any money, without any influence, and without really any support from a community that you've grown over time because you haven't really stuck to any sort of strategy. Because people are looking at you going, what are you doing? And even if they do like your vibe, other than like hitting follow or hitting subscribe, which arguably doesn't really do much nowadays, because it's all about the algorithm. Again, people are being fed what the algorithm thinks that they like. And if you are posting once and then ditching, is that a strategy? Is that just content first for the sake of content? Interest leads to trust. Trust leads to sales. And loyalty leads to repeat business. And yes, I may be conflating with the way that you are in your personal brand and business, but because I personally believe that they are very heavily related. They're very heavy twins, I should say. They're very heavy sisters. Not exactly my eyebrows or my wing liner when I do that, but when you are trying to make something of this personal brand, and it is also a case if it doesn't work in the first couple of tries, because you're still learning, you're still growing. But word of mouth is one of the most powerful outcomes that you can build towards. And I have been doing what I've been doing for 15 years. And for a very long time, I felt like giving up. I felt like, all right, this isn't working, no matter what I'm doing, no matter how I'm pivoting, yada, 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 yada. I'm just kind of pulling myself in so many different directions and none of it is working. Screw this. And then I got reached out to by people that I hadn't talked to in almost a decade. People I haven't talked to in months or years, really. And it was because that word of mouth was so powerful that led them back to me. And I'm not saying that everything that you do is going to mean that word of mouth is going to magically fix every issue that you have. But you should at least try. Your customers are not you. So don't make strategic decisions based on your own habits. And that is something that I've had to learn. Your habits are different from your values. And I talk a lot here at the Video Confidence Coach about how you're always talk about the solution you provide, who you're talking to, why you're talking to them, and the values that you share. Because the values that you share help you build that trust and build that word of mouth. And habits don't really align with that. So learning that in your own self and trying to lead by example is always the best idea. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Make sure you check out the episode that I mentioned in the intro, episode 42, Prioritizing Strategy Over Format, because this episode specifically helps you strategize first so content supports real connection and not random posting. It is somewhat relevant to this episode, but it's more about the specific strategies over this one, which was just more if you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling lost, and you've just been throwing stuff at the wall and nothing is working, try to think bigger. Try to think bigger than just the video. Try to think bigger than just the post that you're making. Try to think bigger than just that one message that you've been using that it clearly isn't landing or working. Try and workshop it with a bigger picture in mind. When someone resonates with this message, where do they go? What do they do? Do I have the facilities to back that up? And if you don't have the funds to invest in a website or an email list, which there are free platforms for this, by the way, you can then maybe try and go, okay, where can I put what realistically steps that I can take that I can use to build trust, even with a small audience. And that is where you start first. And the other episode I would love to recommend you is episode 46, Marketing Burnout Signs and Fixes. So when it comes to keeping your strategy sustainable, so now we're talking not about just content first and then strategy, but actually having a sustainable strategy, you have to show up consistently to earn those conversations over time, which can sometimes lead to burnout. So check out that episode to find out more about how to avoid that. And this is an episode that I play regularly to myself to remind that I have to talk my talk and walk the walk, Zoe, because I do that a lot sometimes. And the simple action I would love you to do after watching or listening to today's podcast is do a 15-minute, so take a bit of time, so breathe and pause, not when you're driving, not when you're doing something else, but to try a conversation audit. So simply, you can get out a pen and paper, and all you need to do is list 3 ways that someone can start a conversation with you this week or today. What can they do? Can they DM you? Can they email you? Can they book in a session with you? Out of those options, or whatever options you write down, pick one of them, and how can you make it easier and how can you make it clearer while not automatically going to content, automatically going to an image or a video or how are you going to make it easier? Think about them, think about their shoes, think about what stresses they're dealing with on a daily basis. Is it as simple as a link? Awesome. Where's that link? Where is it currently living? Is it somewhere where you can find it and you can share easily in a DM? No? Make it happen. And I would love for you, if any of this has resonated with you at all, please check out our Golden Hour Reset for clear, simple marketing reset that focuses on what drives real conversations. Because everything that I've talked about today is very generalized, as you can probably imagine, but I want to make sure that I can give you the best personalized care that I can. And in turn, you're going to have to come over and pay me some money to do so. But I will make sure that you get the best return on investment that you have done all year, because that's what I'm here for. Make sure that you subscribe to this podcast or hit follow so you don't miss the next one, which is at the same time next week. And if you are feeling oh so generous, please rate me and this podcast 5 stars or give us a quick review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts because it helps more than you can ever dream of. Cheers, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye. What do you do? Well, first of all, you think about who exactly you're wanting to target and actually think about where are they found? Where are they interacting? Where are they communicating? Where are you going to find these ravenous fans, people who are going to love what you do and then give... Sorry to cut you off though there, Zoe. We are finishing up today's Camera Ready Confessions. I want to thank everyone for your comments and your questions, your thoughts and ideas for topics throughout today and after for those on the hashtag replay squad. I promise I have slept. I'm just today. But if you have missed any part of today's live stream, please watch and listen to the whole live stream on all these platforms, or you can check it out on the website at vcc.training/camera-ready-confidence, because that's where I keep all the show notes and all the details of today's live streaming session. Next one is going to be live stream 0545, which will be our 45th live stream. Wow, I've been doing this for a while. You can check, the topic of that episode will be, again, next week, which will be, what date is that? That'll be the 17th, so April the 17th. That will be on confident camera energy is trainable. Confident camera energy is trainable. I currently don't have a description for that, but do not worry, I'll make sure to have one there ready by the end of today, so you can check that out in the description below and register your interest on YouTube or join our email list, the 2 Tech Club, where you can find out more details and have those details there ready for you next week. Confess. Oh, this mouse. Confess your camera sins next week. Same time, same place.